Very special guest in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, is none other than quarterback coach Dan Pitcher. And boy, whatever they're doing, whatever Joe Burrow and Dan Pitcher are doing on a daily basis to get ready to play football games, they should bottle it and sell it because it's working. It's working. Just continue to do the same thing. Joe Burrow played at such a high level, and Dan Pitcher is one of the reasons why. I mean, the relationship between Joe Burrow, Dan Pitcher, Brian Callahan, Zach Taylor, all four of them have played, and in Joe's case, continue to play the quarterback position. They feed off each other. It's a good synergy going between those four guys. And I think you're going to like what Dan Pitcher has to say. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. Joining us now, quarterback coach extraordinaire, Coach Dan Pitcher. Coach, what is it like when your guy has a game like Joe Burrow had, setting a franchise record, 525 passing yards? I mean, it has to give you a feeling of accomplishment as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we all feel that, and really just happy for us as a team, the offensive unit, and especially for Joe, for him to go out and perform that way. It's definitely it was a fun day.
Yeah, it was a sight to behold. There's no question about that. Was there anything different? Whenever a day like that takes place, when you reflect back on it, was there anything different about Joe and his preparation, or anything clicked during the course of the week that might have given you an indicator, or the day before the game or game day itself when you're out in the field warming up, like, wow, he's on today, this might be uniquely special? Or is it just like Joe's Joe every single day?
I would say it was more of the latter. He kind of is very steady with his approach. So, I think that's a great thing that there's nothing I can point back to and say, oh, that was the telltale sign that he was going to, have the kind of day that he had. So I think he said it after the game. He expects performances like that of himself. Obviously, we know, every game isn't going to be statistically what that game was, but he demands a ton of himself from the people around him. And when things click like they did Sunday, it's he's very effective and he's hard to stop.
What was it about Sunday that made him so extraordinary? What was he even more sharp in terms of seeing the field, making the right read, throwing the ball with accuracy? I mean, did he do everything at a higher level, or is there one thing that, like, boy, that was uniquely special?
Well, I always feel really good about his ability to see the field. There are some games where it takes a series or two to get a sense for what they're going to do to you.
Right.
Baltimore, particularly, is a team that has a lot of volume of defense. They can do a lot of different things. So you always have to be prepared to adjust in game versus a team like that. But I think, he was very decisive from the pocket early on. And then, you look at the very first play of the game, and he's able to, twist out of a would-be sack and get us a first down. And sometimes for a quarterback, a play like that you never, as a coach, you never want him to be contacted early in the game. But I can say from a playing standpoint, sometimes when you take a little contact and you rip out of it and you make a play like that, it just gets the juice going, and it gets you in a good place mentally. And he was in a great place. So just happy with his performance all around.
I think people don't realize the short space quickness he has. I mean, Joe's elusive. Because guys are right there, and I don't know if it's from his basketball days playing point guard or whatever, but his athleticism. I'm not saying that he's a freak like Lamar Jackson, that kind of a deal, but he is a high level athlete in all areas, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think his short area quickness. You combine that with his ability to do it with his eyes remaining down the field, it makes him really, really hard to stop, because rarely does the first rusher with a path to him bring him down.
Right.
And you watch across the league. I mean, it's hard to pass protect in the NFL. I mean, these guys are really good, and our guys up front are doing a hell of a job. But just there's just going to be a certain percentage of plays when you throw the ball that you're going to have to elude the rush. And I think he has all the tools to do that, and he's doing it at a very high level right now.
Well, he really is. His second quarter, I mean, ridiculous. 10 for 11, 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That leads to a half of a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3. What was he? 18 for 21, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's almost stupid stuff, really. And against an NFL defense that, like you said, has a big portfolio of things they can do to you. That's unbelievably impressive.
Yeah, he was he was dialed in, and the numbers support that. Just watching the way he played supports that. But like he said after the game, and really, it's a testament to who he is as a person and a player, that, I didn't walk away in awe of what I saw. I saw a guy that does similar things on a day-to-day basis, and doing it on Sunday in an NFL game is very, very hard. But he was able to do it on Sunday, and I expect him to continue to play at a high level.
And Coach, the thing is, all year long, his distribution of the football to all quadrants of the field, and the distribution of explosive plays to a myriad of players, a multitude of players, has been pretty special as well. The numbers that he put up, I mean, if Tyler Boyd, if that touchdown pass isn't overturned, you got 3 receivers with over 100 yards receiving, and 1 creeping up on a couple hundred yards. That's pretty extraordinary as well. I mean, he really does an unbelievable job of letting coverage take him where he needs to go, right?
Oh yeah, and it's easy to play that way as a quarterback when you have guys like Jamar, T, and Tyler, and then you throw CJ and Joe Mixon in there, and
right,
and you don't feel like, well, the coverage dictates I got to throw it over here, but I don't really love throwing it to that guy. I mean, we don't have any of those guys.
Right.
Every single guy that touches the ball. And one thing Joe did a good job of Sunday was giving them the ball in body positions and places where they could be a threat after the catch. And our guys are fast, they're tough, they have really good run instincts, and they battle for extra yards. And so, all those receiving numbers you talked about, a lot of that is a testament to those players, because, they got a lot of that on their own after they caught it.
Coach, you had a mix of explosives against the Ravens. I think in game 1 there were 9 plays of 25 yards or more in that 41-14 victory. And in this football game, you had your share of explosives as well. But you would have like a 2-play 71-yard touchdown drive, and then you would have a 19-play, because of penalties, 103-yard field goal drive. You score on your first 7 possessions of the football game. You don't have a turnover. You don't punt the football. You score with explosives. You score with grind it out. I mean, that's just one hell of a performance. Now you checked every box.
Yeah, it was a really good day all around. And it doesn't matter, who's lining up across from you. They're professional athletes, and all these guys have a lot of ability. And we went out there and we're able to do those things against our opponent on Sunday. So, it's a testament to our guys, but very quickly it becomes about how do we make sure that momentum carries over, because it's we're right where we want to be right now in terms of our season long goals, postseason goals, all those things are right in front of us, and so we have to be able to not let that performance exist in a vacuum. It has to propel us to our performances here in the coming weeks, and that's what we're working on doing right now.
So big game plan day right now for the Chiefs. Give me an idea, or give the fans, even listeners more, and viewers more importantly, an idea of what your week is like with Joe Burrow. How much time do you guys spend together? Give me like a day-by-day prep here in terms of time spent within reason as you prepare for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sure. Today's really the only day we don't spend any time together in person. It's a big game plan day for the coaching staff.
Right.
The players work out, they do their own prep. We provide, myself and Brad Cragthorpe, we put together a pretty big scouting report for the quarterbacks that has, everything from personnel breakdown to, defensive tendencies, first and second down, third down, red zone, all those things, so that now as they start their film study, they can use that as a guide. Every coach has their, kind of individual responsibilities that they work on today. And then tomorrow is when we start the week of practice. And, every day during the week consists of a couple hours of meetings in the morning with him, followed by the on-field stuff, and then, another hour or so after practice with Joe and the other quarterbacks. And so each day has its own focus. We try to give a little preview of what's coming the next day before they go home. And so it's a good process. It helps to really, if you look at it all, everything you have to be ready for, it can be overwhelming. But if you break it down into little pieces the way we do, I think it really does a good job of making sure that Joe's ready by the time he steps on the field on Sunday.
I know it's very early in the process as you get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, but they are talented. I mean, this is a defensive football team that's playing their best football. I thought early in the season the defense was struggling a little bit, but here in their 8-game winning streak, I mean, people aren't scoring any points on them. I mean, if they give up 9 points, it's an upset. They're one of only 2 teams in the NFL that are in the top 5 in both points scored and points allowed. They're tied for 5th in points allowed defensively. And they have a great player at every level, coach. As I look, Chris Jones up front with Frank Clark. You got Hitchens at the linebacker. You got Matthew at the next level. Every level seems to have a player. This is a pretty good defense, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, obviously they have a prolific offense. And I think, the talent of their defense can kind of go by the wayside at times. And definitely the way they've played over the last 2 months, this defense has been a huge part of the success they've been able to have. So we have a major challenge in front of us. It's one that we welcome. It's one, we think we present major challenges to every unit that steps on the field against us. So it's going to be, it'll be a great game. We'll come up with a great plan and then trust that our guys will go out and execute.
Yeah, you make mention, a great mention of the offense. Obviously, everybody knows about that, but the defense, they've got some great numbers. Then special teams. They're number 1 in the NFL covering punts. They're number 4 in the NFL returning punts, 6th in the NFL returning kickoffs, and 5th covering them. I mean, shoot, that's Darren Simmons, I think, said that Baltimore's number 1 in the NFL in overall special teams, Kansas City number 2, back-to-back weeks. So it helps that your offense didn't make the Bengals punt the football at all, Coach. Do that again to the Chiefs. That dog done right there.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. It'd be nice to put together another puntless day, but if we have to do it, I know Kev will boom one down there and we'll flip the field on him.
You're the thing I think that is very very well done by Joe Burrow the last 10 quarters plus, maybe no turnovers. I mean, not even close. He's putting the ball in no jeopardy whatsoever. 2 straight games, no giveaways. 2 straight games plus no giveaways. I mean, that's what's going to help you win when you need to win, isn't it?
Yeah, it's critical, and really it just comes down to decision making, and because like I've said before, we want our quarterbacks to be aggressive, and he's being aggressive, and so it's about taking calculated risks. It's about being really precise with where you put the football, and you play to score points, and then you trust that your decision making ability and your attention to detail allows you to avoid those turnovers. And so, we're doing both right now. We need to continue to do both. And, that's what I expect out of Joe.
Steve Spagnuolo's got a great reputation around the National Football League as a defensive coordinator. His philosophy, is he a heavy pressure guy? Does he mix it up? Is it change from week to week? Is he one of those kind of guys that his game plan morphs based on what he sees out of the opponent's tape?
From what I've seen so far studying these guys, there's a pretty healthy mix of man zone pressure, some more combination pressures, that are a little bit more aggressive, as well as just some more kind of single dog pressures where they still can cover relatively well in the back end. So, it's by the time you get to week 16, you got a season's worth of tape to watch. There's, defenses have usually done a little bit of everything. So they have that, like you just mentioned, they got good players at all 3 levels. So it's a challenge, but one that we're eager to take on.
Coach, can't thank you enough for giving us the time in such a busy day, an important day as the Bengals prepare for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I just wish that one game I could listen in when you and Joe Burrow, you're on the sideline after a series, just to hear what you guys are talking about, man. That fascinates me. I bet that conversation is the best. I'd love to be able to hear some of that.
Well, when he's playing the way he played Sunday, there ain't a whole lot I got to tell him. So we'll try to keep it going that way.
I hear you. Yeah, it's one of those deals where, man, I just got to make sure that this doesn't get screwed up somehow. I mean, let's just keep this on the roll, man.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, Coach. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Put together a good one.
Will do.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Breaks? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right.
You gotta get that body right.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.